Hello. Happy Sunday. Welcome, family, to this very, very, very special mindset stream um, called You Are the Medicine. And I am doing this one specifically uh, for a dear friend of mine who is battling stage four. And I don't even want to say the T word because I believe we have an opportunity here to change that. But she's in stage four cancer, and I've known Alec-Lauren for years. Actually, she's part of the Phoenix real estate investor community, and she's been battling in silence for quite some time here. And I think that happens to many of us when we're going through something really hard. We stay to ourselves. We feel like, we're going to be our own best ally. And in some ways, I understand why that happens. I understand why we do that because we're taught that. We're conditioned in life. We're conditioned through what we see through other people, their actions, how we're treated when things don't go, the way of others. That we should just keep our pain to ourselves. That we should just keep our struggles to ourselves. And um, I'm I'm here today, and Alec is going to join us today to show an example of how we can do it different. I'm not saying that anything is good or anything is bad. We're all entitled to handle our situations in our own way. But she has, in great strength, made the decision to share her experience for the benefit of everybody. And so I want to rewind real quick before we bring Alec up, because I don't want to keep her very long on today's stream. As she is, when you see her, you'll see she's obviously not well. But I want to talk about why we're doing what we're doing here and what I've learned in my work with Dr. Joe Dispenza about the field, the quantum field, and how the field actually informs physical reality. So before we get into any of that, I want to see in the chat if we have people with us today who have had an experience with cancer, whether it be yourself, a family member, a friend. If you have experienced or been around or cancer has affected your life, please put a big FC in the chat. Okay, I want to have an FC in the chat. If you have experience with, have been around, or have family who have experienced cancer, put a big FC in the chat. Awesome. So very, very, very many of us have had an experience with it. I've lost friends, I've lost family members, and it is incredibly powerful and difficult disease that I feel we have the ability to cure. Now, I've been going to Dr. Joe Dispenza retreats for a couple of years now, and I have seen firsthand with my own eyes healings. I've seen people overcome from some of the most drastic cases, full healings, absolute full healings. I've seen people who are quadriplegic stand up in their wheelchairs. And I've seen people with ALS cured, people with MS cured. And it's been absolutely incredible to me. And I wanted to understand how this happens. What's the mechanism behind it? Because, friends, this is not just, belief. This is not placebo. These aren't miracle healings. This is us affecting our field, the quantum field, the area in our physical existence where everything in an energetic form exists. Now, what Dr. Dispenza talks about in his retreats is a study that was done with women who have or had experienced ovarian cancer. Now, what they've been able to do is they've been able to measure and actually photograph the electromagnetic field that is created around our bodies, right? We all are aware that from our heart center and from our brains, our bodies emits an electromagnetic field that can extend as far out as 15 to 18 feet beyond our body. Okay, and this is documented, this is proven, and it is because of the electrical magnetic nature of our existence, of our physical bodies. Now, if you took a wire, when you take a wire and you shoot electricity through wire, right, an electromagnetic field is developed around that wire. Our bodies are electric. We can consider ourselves like a wire, right? Our spinal cord, our heart center, and our brain all connected. Now, when electricity flows through from the spine to the base of the spine, we are emitting an electromagnetic frequency, an electromagnetic field. And that field had been thought in the past to have been affected by reality, right? So what doctors and what scientists used to believe was that our physical body, right, affects the field. So our body is creating the field. And they believed that for very many years until this study proved them wrong. They looked at women who had ovarian cancer and they photographed the field around all of these women. Now, interestingly enough, every single one of the women who had ovarian cancer had a distortion in their field, a very uniform. So every one of them, every single one of these women had a distortion in their field, and they had ovarian cancer. Now, what was really interesting about that was that not everybody who had the distortion in the field had cancer at that time, but over time, they developed cancer. So what did that tell us? That told us that it wasn't the cancer that was affecting the field. It showed us that it was the field that is what actually created the cancer. The distortion in the field is what created the cancer. And what Dr. Dispenza does in his retreats is change the field. If you can change your field, you can change reality. If you can change your field, you can change reality. And that, my friends, is science. Now, here's what's interesting about that. This is not just about health. This is not just about disease. This is about our well-being financially as well. Your financial destiny is, your financial entire world is actually in the field. It's in your field, how you vibrate on an economic level, your belief in abundance, your belief in scarcity, whatever that is, it is actually emitted. Your field is informing everything outside of you of your beliefs. Your field is informing everybody that you meet, everything that you encounter. The reality that you see in front of you is being informed by the field before it's even informed by you. Because remember, it's 15 feet ahead of you. And that's why when we are experiencing things in our life, we have to understand that it is coming from inside of us, right? Success is an inside job. We want to have a different experience in our worlds. We have to have a different experience inside of us. And in so doing, we can change our field. And when we change our field, we change our reality. Now, we've also seen through the double slit experiment that consciousness, right? Our consciousness is what informs reality. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the double slit experiment, this is where scientists took a photon and they blasted it through two slits. And what they understood is that the nature of reality is both particle and wave. Okay, the nature of reality is both particle and wave. Now, this isn't me making this up, friends. This is science, okay? The nature of reality is both particle and wave. Now, you would imagine if something can be 50% one thing and 50% another, like let's just say a coin, right? A coin is, if you flip it, half of the time you flip the coin, you're going to get heads. Half the time you flip the coin, you're going to get tails, right? We understand that. And if we flip the coin enough times, what's going to happen? We're going to get 50-50 heads and tails. That's just statistics. Now, what they saw is when they blasted the photon through the double slit and they measured 50% of the time that photon would collapse into a particle, and 50% of the time it would be a wave function. So you wouldn't see it. It remained energy, not physical matter. It remained energy. And they were like, cool. But that's when they were measuring it when nobody was watching. The moment consciousness, human consciousness, the moment we observed it, this is called the observer effect. The moment we looked at it, the wave function collapsed and we got a particle 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Meaning that our consciousness is actually creating the reality around us. We are co-creators of our reality. We, through our consciousness and our agreement to it, are creating our physical reality by our attention. Now, when we take these two concepts, when we take the concept of our attention creating reality, and we take the concept of the field informing matter, we have within us the basis on how meditation can change your life and how you can actually change what you're experiencing in your world, in your life. Now, Alec and I, we've been friends for many years. And I remember running into her in 2020 or 2021, one of the two. And she had mentioned to me that she was suffering from cancer. And when I seen her, you know, she's a beautiful woman. She was super healthy looking. I'd look at her and be like, no, there, you know, nothing looked wrong. But she had mentioned to me that, you know, one day I really want to get out to one of these Joe Dispenza retreats. I seen on your Instagram that you've been visiting those, and they look so great. They look really inspiring. And this is the kind of work I love to do, Jamil. This is what I enjoy. And I believe this. I believe in this. And, you know, then I seen her at a networking event, maybe I think last year sometime. And she was in her glory. She looked fantastic. She was in remission. And I didn't think anything of it. I had just in my brain said, she's got to be okay. Everything's got to be okay, because look at her. She looks great. She's back to coaching. She's a real estate coach. So she coaches real estate agents and their businesses. And so she was, you know, she was really in it. She had stayed the entire event. She looked great. We exchanged a big hug. And then the next time I seen her was at a Joe Dispenza walking meditation. Joe does these biannual walk for the world meditations where he gets all of the people who are in the work, who are doing this work, to get together, to come together, to collectively move in unison as a collective towards a common goal, right? Which is the lifting of humanity, which is the lifting of the vibration of our species, of our planet. What a beautiful thing to do. Then I seen her. She actually was the one who invited me, because I didn't even know that this group existed in Phoenix. And so she sent me the address of where it was going to be. And my sister and I went, and I seen her. And she looked fantastic. And I would have thought nothing was wrong. Nothing was going on behind the scenes. Maybe she didn't think anything was going on behind the scenes. And then I get a text message Thursday of last week. And it was a shock to me. It was an absolute shock. And she said, you know, I'm not one to ask for things. I'm a mom. I take care of myself. I've taken care of my kids. My daughter, I believe she has a daughter. I've taken care of my world as best as I can. And I don't ask for things from anybody, but I know that you have some connections with Joe Dispenza's team, and I'm going out on a limb because right now I'd ask for the moon if I could, but I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and it's spread so fast that I may have a couple of months. And my whole stomach fell, right? I read this and I take a minute, and in my head, look, guys, I can write a check and she can go to the retreat, right? And so that the moment that I read that, I was like, okay, we're going to get Alec to the retreat. We're going to get her to the retreat. That's not a thing. And so, of course, I reached out to a friend of mine at the Joe Dispenza organization, and I asked, can you help? And I realized it wasn't going to happen fast enough. There was no way, because you got to go through a whole thing. You got to fill out an application. They got to approve the application. They got to get confirmation from doctors. They got to do what they got to do, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are trying to take advantage of the situation. Maybe not even understanding what this work is all about, so they try to cheat it. But whatever that is, they got to do what they've got to do, their due diligence, and they got to take their time. And I imagine that there's thousands of people making these applications as well. And this is like, we don't have a lot of time. And so I say to Alec, consider yourself going, okay? No matter what it is, however this goes, consider yourself going. I'm going to make sure you get there one way or the other. But what an opportunity we have right now to share this with other people, to share the story, to share this capacity that we all have within ourselves to heal ourselves, to not only have, because if I did this in silence, right? If I did this quietly, if I do this in silence and I send Alec off, okay, so she knows I've got her. She knows her family has her. She knows maybe her closest friends have her. But what she's experienced in the last 3 or 4 days is an outpouring of support where she has seen hundreds of people have got her. And through today's stream, we're going to make that thousands of people. And my goal here, friends, is so that she can not only have all of us rally with her, but I want to experience this miracle with you guys. I want to share this miracle with you. I want to share this miracle. She wants to share this miracle with you. She wants to share this miracle of healing. She wants to share this coming together of love, of incredible, this gift. How many people, with small donation, large donation, whatever it was, how many people read that and said, I care? Because here's the thing. We all know what happens when you try to do something online. How many times have I tried to buy something online and I get to that point where they're like, put in your credit card, and I just X out. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Too much work. How many times have I done that? How many times have you guys done that, right? We do that. Sometimes I've even done that on a GoFundMe. I'm just being real, okay? Being 100% open and transparent here. I've done that. I've been on it. Read a GoFundMe, and for a moment I'm like, oh, this is touching. And then it's like, I got to do all these things, and I'm like, oh, later. And then it never happens. So we can see how many people overcame that friction, overcame that scarcity, overcame that belief or that need for it to be easy, overcame the fact that they have bills to pay, overcame the fact that they've got things in their life that require their resources. How many people pushed through that and took them time, put their information in there, and send out a line of love and a line of hope to Alec-Lauren? How many people did it? And it is beautiful. I've been in tears. Guys, my puppy passed away yesterday, and it was one of the most heartbreaking things. We all know what it's like to lose a pet if you've ever had one. And here was the interesting thing, right? As heartbreaking as yesterday was, you want to know what really mended my heart yesterday? You all stepping up, and doing the thing, loving on Alec and showing me that we are in an incredible world full of beautiful people, and just magical things can happen when we come together. And even though we experience loss in life, we have love and gain and all these other beautiful things that we have to also be a part of our world. Now, guys, it wasn't my dog who passed wasn't Henry. Henry is young. He's just a year and a half. This was our 15-year-old puppy, Venice, and she was, she had a long life. What was really beautiful about it is that she didn't get sick or anything. We didn't have to put her down. She woke up in the morning and ate breakfast like normal. Then she went out and did her business in the backyard. And then she laid out in the sun for about half an hour, was something that she hasn't done in like 5 years. Maybe 2-3 years. She's been too old. She's just like, she was over it. She didn't want to lay in the sun. She laid out in the sun yesterday for a half an hour. And then normally she's got her bed in our pantry. She's a really loud breather and loud snorer. So she used to live in the pantry because she'd keep us all awake. And she went into my room and laid in Easton, my dog who passed away at the beginning of the year. She laid in his bed and died in that. It was beautiful. But it showed me, right, that even in that pain, as much as I wanted to just like fall apart yesterday, I had this outpouring of love that I got to see and witness everybody have for my beautiful friend. And I am in so much joy. So, friends, before I bring her on, okay, because I'm not gonna keep her long. She's been backstage, and I'm sure she's tired. She needs to rest, and so we're gonna let her do that. But I'm gonna bring her on, and at any moment, if you feel inspired, inclined, in the description and also in the chat, I've seen Bobby putting it in the chat. There is the GoFundMe. We're almost fully subscribed. I'm going to get Alec-Lauren, her aide. She has an aide who's traveling with her. We're going to get them both to Orlando. For the tickets have been bought, guys. I wasn't waiting. Okay, so you guys know I wasn't waiting. We're doing it anyways. But we're going to send her off. Any excess funds are going straight to her to manage whatever expenses she's got, or situations she may be facing in the meantime. But I want you guys to know that there's still an opportunity for you to help and show your support, show your love. So without further ado, Alec-Lauren.
Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
We sure can hear you.
Okay.
How are you doing today?
Good. If I go slow, I apologize. I just had a really bad coughing gig, but I just said, get me through this. You guys get me through this, and then you can have your way with me the rest of the afternoon.
Alec, I wanted to start off by just saying I love you. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful that you reached out to me, and I'm so honored that you did, and I'm so blessed to have been able to be a part of this journey with you, to do this with you, and all these people are here. They've shown up to love you.
I don't really have words, because I had pretty much said it's going to be what it is, and I'm doing my meditations, and I'm doing remote coherence healings, and a good friend of ours, Shireen, Dora, had texted me the day before and said, lady, I don't care how I have to get you on that plane, but we're getting you on a plane somehow. And I told her, I just said, I don't know how at this point. And I had just like you said, with help. I just don't ask for help. It's very difficult for me. So by the time, I got to this point, um, it was already, the doctors already said it's too aggressive. There's nothing we can do. So, except for put you on this stuff, and then it most likely won't work anyway. But I believe in this. And I want to say that in those years that I was working on it, I was fighting myself. My energy field was shrinking because I take one step forward and 3 steps back, if that makes sense. I was shrinking my own field by fighting myself. And I recognize that now. But I believe in this work. I've seen too much. I can tell you, when I do my meditations, I breathe. I can breathe. I have this thing that measures my oxygen constantly, and my oxygen evens out, my breathing evens out during my meditations. That tells me that I'm free and clear out there. I know that I am. And that next morning after Shireen said that to me is when I remembered our conversation. I had, could kind of, like you said, just put it to the back of my mind, and she just said that there's going to be a way. She started, doing some homework, and then you popped into my head, and I'm like, I bet Jamil knows someone that can at least put me on the path. And when you called me that next day to just tell me, just consider it done, we're going to figure it out, we're still going to put in for everything. But this whole experience, Jamil, it's very difficult to hear that people care, and there's that amount of love out there. It's difficult to hear that about yourself. And I'm so overwhelmed and grateful. I know that if I get there, I'm leaving. I know I'm leaving a different person, and I'm leaving cancer free. I know that I am. And I can say, when you get this week, it's been a lesson for me, allowing people to lift me up. It's been a huge lesson of gratitude and allowance. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is allowance. So I just, there are no words to say thank you enough, and how grateful I am.
Well,
There's just no words.
you know, in hearing you talk about it, right? The fact that you feel it so difficult to allow that, to let it into your life. It's almost like this was your lesson. This is what you're here to learn, is to allow yourself to be loved, to allow yourself to be supported. Sometimes it doesn't have to just be us, right? It doesn't just have to be our strength. And we have to be shown, we've got to be proven, we've got to be lifted by the whole to see that and feel it. And regardless of outcome here, love, you've seen it. you saw the miracle. The miracle is already happened. The miracle has already happened.
It's been an amazing experience. And I have 5 kids, and I waited to the very last minute to tell them. I just couldn't bear what it was going to do to them again, because they had already been through chemo and radiation and everything with me. And that's the last thing I wanted, was to put them through all that hell again. And my family has just been amazing. But then to see, just to see this extension of family is what I'm going to say is like nothing I've ever imagined in my life, ever. And I just thank you. I
We
just want to
thank
say
you.
thank you to everybody.
And all of us thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be with you, for allowing us the opportunity to be a part of this, and for letting this happen and going with it and surrendering to this, to surrendering to the unconditional love of strangers. of, of
I've received some of the most amazing messages, from complete strangers, just DMing and messaging. And again, we do live, it's easy to get caught up, especially in an election year. It's so easy to get caught up in all the BS. And that's really what it is. It's BS and intentional creation. We're always creating. But obviously I wasn't doing it intentionally. I'm just not that good yet, as Dr. Joe said. I'm just sorry. You're just not that good yet. But I wasn't being intentional enough, obviously. And I want to come out of this with a message, Jamil. I do. I want to show my kids that it can be done. And it's not just about food. It's not just about, I've always eaten organic. I've always fed my children really well. Been very conscious of all of that. That's not what this is about. I feel like there's something here, and I want to get that message out.
And that message of the fact that we are the medicine, that you are your own medicine.
Yes.
What does that mean for you? Help us understand.
It really is an inside job. And I've had enough months in this chair to reflect on what that means. And we carry our traumas with us. We carry all this stuff with us. And it's the pea under the mattress, right? It's just a pea. Yes, we all have big dramatic stuff too. But those peas that everybody's carrying, they grow. They grow if we don't address them internally. It's not about the other person. It's about us and our field. And I just the other day, it was 2 days ago, I get weak and I have to be reminded, and you reminded me that I have to keep fighting, that, I'm the one that reached out to you and you said, you've got the fighting spirit in you. I have to be reminded when we all get down, and we all do, we need that from each other. But it is an inside job to say, what am I looking at here? What is it in me that I'm not allowing myself? It's a worthiness thing. I can tell you, with me, it's been a worthiness thing from the get-go. For a lot of people, it's many other things, but what's blocked in me that I'm not allowing, and then go about the business of healing that. And how does anybody do that? For me, the meditations help, but then when you have to go live in the world after you come out of your meditation. What is that going to look like? And I think I've blocked I've had a lot of things that I have stifled over the years. And I honestly think that that's where this has come from personally for me, is stifled emotions, feelings that have been put down, over my lifetime. That, like I said, it has nothing to do with the other people. It's about me. And I have to heal them. So healing myself, going in and being intentional and saying, I'm not blaming anybody. There's no one to blame, right? It's this is on me. And do I want it? That's the bottom line. Do I want it? I could just say, yes, it's been hard and I'm ready to sign off. And that's not what I want. I want to see my other kids get married, and I want to see them have babies, and they're good people, go out and be successful. I want to get this message out that doctors have their place. I'm not bashing doctors at all, but we look to others far too much to heal us. We're not looking inside. We've got to start with numero uno. We've got to. I think that that's just where I'm starting.
Thank you. And it's wow. Thank you for your vulnerability. That I know that took a lot.
Thank you. I can't believe I got that out. I can't believe I got that much out.
Wow.
I'm so grateful.
Well,
I am so grateful.
We love
you. I really am. Thank you, Jamil. I love you guys. I do.
I want everybody in the chat, everybody who's with us right now, for just a moment, if we could all just take a minute here, and we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to take a deep breath, and we're going to send an immense amount of love and healing to our friend Alec-Lauren with us. Let's all do that together right now. Just take a moment, close your eyes, and sit up straight and take a deep breath in. Let it out, relax. And let's just open our hearts and send our love to her, send our healing to her. And Alec, I just want you to receive it. May the week that you're there be transformative, be healing, be full of unconditional love, that you see the power in you and of all of these beautiful people that are with you. We pray for your healing. We pray for your strength. We pray that you feel the love of all of us, our source, and yourself. Amen.
I thank God for you all. Thank you so much, Jamil. And everyone.
Go rest up, Alec.
Yes.
We love you.
Thank you.
God bless you, sweetheart. We'll talk again
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
Incredible. That was, just the amount of strength that it took for her to to come here and to share herself. And this is the thing, right? I mean, how much strength does it take for somebody to show up like this and to go through all of this, to go through this, because the reality is she could have said to me, Jamil, I just want this to stay quiet, and I would have happily obliged, right? Happily obliged and been helpful, and she could have gone to the retreat and it be what it is. But she wants for others to see this, for others to learn about the power of our own ability to heal ourselves. She wanted that. She wanted, in this time, in this really, really, really important time of her life, that this be a group learning opportunity, miracle. And this is what we're experiencing right now. It's a miracle that we get to be here. It's a miracle that all of you showed up. It's a miracle that we are where we are in our fundraising effort to get her there. All of this is miraculous and beautiful and healing. I'm overwhelmed with what I've seen in the last few days from this community. I have never felt so in love with this community as I have in the last 48 hours. I mean, I've had the opportunity to work with you guys, to help you with your wholesale deals, to comp properties for you and do all these things, right? That really only affect our material lives at some level. On the business side, of course, we do these mindset calls, and you guys see that this is the work that I really, pour myself into. I care about this deeply. But what this is right now is a miracle. It's an opportunity for all of us to witness it. And we don't get to see miracles often in today's world, with all of the nonsense going on out there, with all the hatred being spewed out there, with all the divisiveness, with all of the, I am you, I am me, and you are you, and we aren't the same. We're not the same, right? We hear this from everybody. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm built different. No, you're not. No, you are not. We are all God's children. And the moment that we put somebody outside of God, we put ourselves outside of God as well. The moment that we say, I'm special, you're not, is the moment we separate ourselves from our Creator. The reality is we're all connected. We are all of Source, with Source. Every one of us. And we're just here to figure that out. We're playing one of the most incredible games of hide and seek with our Creator as we could. What a beautiful game. It's hard, but it's beautiful. Again, friends, in the chat, you'll see there's a GoFundMe. If there's an opportunity for you to contribute to this healing for Alec, for her and her aide to make it out to Orlando. Of course, she's going, but we really want to make this a comfortable experience for her. I don't want her to have any worries of, I got these bills or whatever. I just want to send her with everything that she needs to heal. And if you have that if you have anything in your ability to share, please do. If you have no means to share in terms of contributing, if you share the link, if you tell somebody, even if you look at yourself in the mirror today and say, I am the medicine, I am my own medicine. If you can only take that message from today, then what we did here meant something. And her taking the time out of her day, as you guys could see, physically having a hard time. And I'm sure every one of us, when I sat here with my eyes closed and my heart open, I felt every one of you. Every one of you, I felt. Not only did I feel all of you that are with us right now, I feel like I felt everyone who's going to watch this in the future. I want you to take the rest of the afternoon, if you're not a part of the Astro community and going to be joining me in the call here in about 15 minutes, to just to take the rest of the day to think about yourself, think about Alec, think about the power that we have within ourselves. And what have you done in the last week, 2 weeks, month? Where have you put somebody else outside of the creator? Where have you made someone else wrong and you right? And how can we heal that? So from myself and Alec-Lauren, thank you. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for joining us in this. Thank you for being a part of this. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gesture of kindness, faith, unconditional love, and healing. I love all of you. God bless you guys. We'll see you next Sunday. Take care. That link is in the chat and in the description. Go donate. See you guys.